love Chad. He's like already victory lapping right out of the gate. And these two are just ghouls. look at this.
Bitches, suck my dick.
What a way to start a show. Yeah, bitches, suck my dick. Okay, you got John. I get it. That's cool.
Well, it did prove that Chad had $501 in the bank somehow,
Yes.
Because apparently that's all it took.
Well, here's a fun fact for you. This guy, Dabblers Anonymous, was giving pretty generous super chats, both on MLC as well as on Chad's show here. And so he asked, because I'm giving you all this money, can you just DM me and let me know what it cost for you to get John? And it wasn't the real Dabblers Anonymous, it was someone else. Mm-hmm. So the real Dabblers Anonymous sent me a note and was just like, Chad just offered up this information to me I didn't even ask for. And apparently it was $600.
What a boob.
To get John on his show. So yeah, good on Chad. He had $600 laying around. It's impressive. I'll say that.
John, I'm going to pay you, but it's going to be over 4 credit cards, and don't read the names on the cards.
Yeah. This actually, I don't want to play it right now. We'll get to it in a minute. But it's funny that these guys think in terms of money, gift cards gets brought up.
And mini iPads.
Mini iPads and gift cards. It's currency in this world for some reason, which is odd. So it starts off, Chad is fired up. He's mad at Shuley. And the thing he's mad at Shuley about is a little bit hypocritical. Just a little bit.
From Chad?
Just a Chad. Just a tad, Chad.
That's the thing right now. Shuley's snipe watching this because he doesn't have the balls to go up against Kevin without you being on the show. So he has to come at me because that's how he does things. His whole network. I mean, I'm taking on Kevin in his strikes, Bob, Levy, his whole network now. And it's just like they love the pile-on. They love it. They can't do it themselves. Shuley can't do it himself. And that's the fucking facts. And they know it.
I don't even know what he's saying at this point. But he's bitching at Shuley for sniping. That's what Chad does now. That's the only thing he does is just snipe other people's shows.
And barely do that.
He's terrible
Just
at
watching it.
Yeah.
Also, I want to be careful to not defend Shuley because I know what happens when people say that. But isn't it just that Brennan wouldn't let him on? It's not that he was afraid to do anything. And Levy kept saying, send Shuley the link. And just Brennan didn't want him. So, I mean, it's not like he's afraid to go on.
Well, also, the other thing that Chad's understanding is that Chad was saying he would do way better numbers when he was sniping Misery's company if Shuley wasn't. So Shuley has taken that as a challenge. So he's like, okay, well, let's say Stuttering John isn't on. Can I still do better numbers than you? And he proved that he could because he had 3 times as many viewers, even when Chad had Stuttering John.
It's a snipe off.
Yes, 3 times as many people were watching Shuley watch him.
Jesus Christ.
So the whole thing is so insane. It's so ridiculous. All right, so John can't get this out, but he's talking about how he watches both Chad's show and Misery Loves Company, when he's at work.
And Shuley, unlike you, Kevin is funny. Sorry. Like I said, when I'm at school and I have lunch, I go back and forth between Kevin and you, Chad. You guys actually make me laugh.
He's literally talking about watching the show during the lunch period at his elementary school.
With his
well,
lunchbox.
you know how your grandma probably always needs to watch General Hospital every day because she's been watching it for like 60 years. He's like, kids, quiet down. I'm watching my stories.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Melendez? Why is Kevin so mad?
Good question.
I can only imagine a 10-year-old trying to figure out what's going on with Kevin Brennan. Like, what the fuck is this?
I think they'd be more concerned why there's a bloated corpse teaching them.
One's thinking over that.
Yeah.
Good point.
Let me know if we ever find out. Let me know off air if we ever find out where he's teaching because I will drive my kid to that school just so he can be in John's class.
All right, there you go. Ringing endorsement. This guy's recruiting children at his school. That's amazing. All right. So John, as we know, fucks up sayings quite a bit. And we've talked about a lot of them before.
Chewing the shit.
Chewing the shit is a perfect example. Here, I think, is a new one. I don't think I've heard him say this one before.
He thinks he somehow invented sliced bread when it comes to comedy. It's fucking hysterical. He is the hypocrisy. This is the hypocrisy police coming for you, dues payer.
I don't know if you saw how much saliva just went flying out of his mouth at the end there. So
Is it stuck to his camera? Is that what that is?
Yeah, is that white on the far side of the screen? It's John Spittle.
That's something else.
he acts like he invented sliced bread.
Yeah.
The saying is, it's the best thing since sliced bread. No one's saying they invented sliced bread.
No, they just invented bread.
Yeah.
John.
I mean, I
Yeah,
can't wait for Hypocrisy Police to come out on Netflix too. That's gonna be great.
I know. This guy is the hypocrisy police. I mean, I'm the hypocrisy police. He's the hypocrisy.
He's under arrest.
Speaking of arrest, this guy's brain stopped working because, as you know, Chad Zumock has the hype train. That's his big bit that he does, which actually isn't his bit, but now it's his bit for some reason. And so John works that in masterfully here.
Somehow say I ran away. The only fucking twit that ran away was you when I tried to interview you. And now you have a revisionist history train. And this revisionist history train is all Shuley trying to rewrite history.
The revisionist history train.
Can you imagine him ever getting kicked out of a bar? I mean, I really felt bad for him back then. Jesus Christ.
Again, I'm gonna propose a theory that John's actually dead. He's flailing his arms around like a goddamn marionette doll.
It's a guy in a costume.
For people actually watching, this is the great reminder, having John back in our lives, that anytime you do a freeze frame of John, it's one of the greatest photos you've ever seen in your life.
Yes. His facial expressions are getting funnier and funnier, wackier and wackier. And I don't know if Chad's doing a good job or a bad job. It's really hard to tell because he barely says anything.
Right.
John came in, shot out of a cannon, and Chad's just kind of watching like we all are. Just like, what did you just say? Revisionist history train? Okay. Why not? I'll go along with that.
Yeah, he's almost likable.
Now, let's not go too far, producer Chris. All right. This is the crazy part right here.
And I challenge you to something, dues payer. I'm going to challenge you, Levy, and Silent Mike to this. Now get a load of this, Chad.
I'm listening.
I am going to challenge this.
Hit like, everybody. Subscribe. Jump in the chat.
I am going to. Oh, thanks for bringing it up. I was just getting here. Red Honda. Thanks for supplying the $5 for Chad. I am going to challenge you three in a 6-round boxing match, but we don't need the big gloves. We do UFC gloves, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to challenge you. Now, you can pick who's going up first against me, okay? Then I'll take care of that one. Then you bring in the next guy. Then I take care of that one. Then you bring in the big fat fuck known as Silent Mike.
And that's when
then
I
I
lose.
take care of that one. Then you go back to the first one if you're still standing. First of all, Bob's got black lungs. He ain't gonna last more than 20 seconds. Surely you're so tiny, I'd beat your bald fucking head in so hard that your wife would fucking leave you because you're gonna look like fucking all bloody. I'm gonna break your fucking nose and teeth. And then you bring in the fat fuck known as Silent Mike, and we'll see just how tough you are, okay? We'll do it on either Brennan's show, or Chad's show, or Carl's show. I don't care. But I'm up for it. I work out all the time. Let's see you. Let's see you come against me, you fucking prick.
See,
Amazing.
that's an episode of the show of who would win that I want to listen to. Stuttering John versus Shuley.
Stuttering John versus the entire Uncle Rico show.
Right?
I love it. So this is my favorite version of John right here. He's fired up. He's on a roll. He's got stuff to say. There's saliva going every which way. It's flying right here. And
He always makes time for things that are clearly true, like the fact that he hits the gym every single day. That's obviously true.
works out every single day. He's in the best shape of his life.
It only lasts 6 rounds in the ring.
Now, I have to say that this sounds like tough guy talk or whatever. You're just like, yeah, fuck you, I'll kick your ass. But it can't be because he's tweeting about it too. Look at these tweets that he's putting out. This is just from yesterday and today. So yesterday he wrote, the funniest part of the dues payer is I put out a challenge. Me, him, Silent Mike, and Bomb in the ring, UFC gloves. I go around with each one of them. What do I get? Crickets. Tough Guy Tooley and Silent Mike. The challenge still stands. Pocky, you could take a round 2, no gun. And then he quote tweeted that and said, reminding Bomb what I said. Let me handle this, dummy. I will stick to the terms. In a ring with UFC gloves. This is a boxing match, not the Outsiders, you dumb fuck. Let Who Are These Podcasts or MLC produce it. There are rings where we can charge people to watch and we get paid. He's dead serious about this.
Glory
He's already done
days.
this before. Yeah, why do we need to watch more celebrity boxing bullshit? Think of a different idea, John.
Oh, I would watch this.
Yeah, they're not celebrities.
I'm ready to produce this. I will put up money. I think this is a winner right here. But I can't believe that he really thinks that this is something that's plausible. These are a bunch of overage comics. Mm-hmm. Like overage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Past their prime.
They can buy us beer.
It's like what are we trying to prove here? You think he's going to beat up 3 guys in a boxing ring?
Oh, at least someone would die. One person would die of a heart attack, at least.
On the plane ride over.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So this is insane. And then so he starts talking about Anthony Cumia. He doesn't really get into Ant too much. But listen closely because he says something really dumb right here.
He loses his gun while he's inebriated. Now, here's a guy who fights for the First fucking Amendment. We all should have guns. You can't even find yours.
So the First Amendment is freedom of speech. The right to bear arms is the Second Amendment, John. Just FYI. It's pretty well known to most school teachers, but not everyone, apparently.
Wasn't that incident years ago? I'm pretty sure he found his gun by now.
Yeah, he knows where it is now. Also, John talks about hypocrisy a lot. And I got to say, when the ex-girlfriend or the girlfriend at the time is filming from inside the living room as they're having a fight or an argument and then putting that on the internet, I'm going to go ahead and say that's no one's business. And John loves to talk about this incident that went down between Anthony and his girlfriend at the time, who seems like a real handful. And so they love to talk about this. Like, do you want people filming you? Because I remember an incident, and I actually tweeted at John about this. Oh, I'm not blocked anymore. John and I have been tweeting each other. It's amazing. I actually DM'd him. I know. It's incredible.
It's cute.
I know. But I remember an incident where there was someone at the Pickwick pub who was filming John who was screaming because someone had parked behind him and he was trying to leave. And he's yelling at everyone. And he was really upset that went out. He's like, this is me in my personal life. Like, what do you think someone being in their living room in their house is, John? That's also something that really we shouldn't be commenting on or shouldn't be out there for everyone to see. Now, I will give John credit, though, because he was calling Casey Armstrong a drunk. And this is just on Twitter. So I tweeted him, I go, that's a weird thing to call someone, John, for coming from you. I don't know if that's the angle I would take if I were him. And he goes, yeah, but I don't get blackout drunk and get enraged. And I go, what about the Pickwick video? And he writes back and he goes, yeah, well, the Giants had just lost the game. I go, that's actually a really good answer. Because there have been times when the Bills have lost games they should not have that I am not in a good mood after.
Yeah, you don't want to get near Carl.
No,
then.
I get very upset. Yeah. I get over it, but it takes a little while. Yeah, for sure.
After everyone's left.
I just thought that was so funny. After everyone's like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. I just thought that was really funny of John to be like, well, I'm not like KC. I'm not like getting blackout drunk and screaming at people. I'm like, well, there's a video of you doing it here. He's like, but the Giants lost. Like, okay. Good point. I'll give you a pass.
That clause.
The Giants lost clause. I forgot
Even
about
John
that.
can be normal once in a while. You know,
Sure.
He has that one moment.
For real.
I didn't know if you were going to mention the tweeting he's doing, the rage tweeting he's doing to Shuley, where he's showing literally every credit on his own personal IMDb page. He's like, I wrote for this. And he's like got a t-shirt from the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast. He's like showing off all of his swag from all the stuff that he did. And he's like, did you ever do this dues payer? Did you?
Yeah, well, listen, John can actually make some valid arguments that he's had the better career outside of the Howard Stern show. But the way he goes about it does not help his cause. And he keeps doing it the same way over and over again, and everyone keeps laughing at him. He's like, I don't know why everyone's laughing at me. I was the head writer for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast.
But now he's in he hasn't even unpacked in his empty house, but he's got all that shit out already. The clipping, the fucking awards.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he knows where that is.
That's pretty
Chris,
funny.
you know he didn't let the movers take any of that stuff.
Right.
He like, put it in the front seat of his car. He put the seatbelt over it. I don't want to lose this script.
I don't know where the sober deodorant is, but whatever.
All right. So now he's going after Bob Levy.
That's playful goofing, Bob. So don't get your fucking panties in an uproar.
Don't get your panties in an uproar. I've never heard such a thing. My panties are in an uproar right now. So upset.
Yeah, it sounds like a good thing.
Now, as you see, John has his Hypocrisy Police shirt. And what's very exciting about this, and what I told John he should do, is he should start a show that goes after Shuley. He came prepared with clips. He came prepared. He's got clips. He's going to prove Shuley hypocrisy. You can't wait to do it.
Smug. And he thinks that somehow he's equal to me when it comes to Stern.
I'm not. I'm better than you.
So, all right. That's all you need, Chad, from that one. Okay. He says that he's better than me, right? Now watch the hypocrite. That's right, dues payer. I'm the Hypocrisy Police. Now play his show from today where he denies ever saying that. Please. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
No problem.
Message to the dues payer. That's me, by the way. You were wrong as usual. I did the show. B, you said you were better than me on Stern. Never said that.
I don't. Yeah, that's another thing I never heard said. I never heard that said.
Now, Chad, have I not proved my case?
I have an eyewitness, Dr. Guy. An eyewitness that will place you at the head of the Donna driveway at 5:30 Monday afternoon. But the eyewitness is not Mr. Morris. The eyewitness is you.
So John just came out. He got him, man. He had clips. He had evidence. He made his case. That was very Columbo-like. It's very impressive.
Which one was more surprising to you? That John came with clips or the fact that Chad actually was able to successfully play the clips?
Both. And I'll tell
I'm
you
reeling
why.
from that.
There is a comedy of errors that comes up in just a little bit as John's trying to make a point. But I have to say, what John is doing is he's doing the exact same thing that Shuley did when he started the Uncle Rico show. He's going to a specific subreddit that doesn't like his adversary and letting them pull the clips. And then he's like, see, here it is. Here's the proof right here, which is brilliant. There's no reason why he wouldn't be doing this. This is what I was trying to suggest to him all along. Okay, so now that, since you mentioned that, the fact that he actually was able to play those clips, I have to play you. John is ready to make a big point, and he wants to get a close-up. He's like, listen, if you can just give me a close-up right now, I've got some shit to say. And Chad has no idea how to work this equipment at all.
Because he's always doing it about me.
Hey, just put me in close up for a second.
I don't know how.
Really?
I really don't.
Oh, God. All right. You're worse than me when it comes to this shit.
Let's see if this
I knew
works.
we'd get closer to the camera.
All you got to do is just take yourself out of the stream for a second.
Oops. That's what you,
No, do the opposite of that.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Don't worry about it. No. Pull back. How far? Cleveland? Okay, just go back.
Whoa, that's
Just pull back. Pull back. This is. Oh, it doesn't matter.
here. I'll get out of the frame.
All right. Okay, Bob. To do it on my trans child, really? To do 5 to 10 minutes on a trans person.
All right.
That's the funniest thing Chad's ever done.
I know. It is actually very funny. And he even like got back in the camera and mugged a little bit for it. So basically, if you're just listening to this, John just wanted to go full screen on just John so he could talk to Bob about Bob going off on his trans child. And he goes, all right, you can just put me up solo. And Chad goes, I don't know how. So after changing the different views, all the different things you could do besides what John wanted, Chad just goes, oh, I know what I can do. And just actually leaves the camera. So he's still up. You can see the poster.
Right.
But he just goes to the side. Oh, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, what's great about that is like John's like, okay, zoom in on me, and Chad says he can't do it. So John moves himself closer to the camera to zoom himself in.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who can improvise.
Yeah.
He figured that out. All right. John calling Shuley a loser and making some faces here. This is fun.
I already have my real estate people on it because I don't believe you could afford $400,000 for that house. I don't. I think that maybe, your wife's parents or maybe your parents, but somebody shelled out the money for you because you, my friend, are a fucking loser.
It's fucking amazing. All the greatest hits are coming back. We missed this guy for 8 months. It's so great to have him back on the internet. I love it. All right. So you'll notice that John's internet's not great. So his new house, his internet's freezing up a lot. He was good on MLC, but for whatever reason on Chad's show, it's freezing up a lot and stuff, which actually is fun. Because every time it freezes, it's always a funny pose.
Oh, yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, when John went to interview Shuli, when the Howard Stern show went out to L.A., and they did a week of shows out in L.A., and the very famous video of John going up to Shuli in the hotel lobby, trying to ask him questions, and Shuli just walks away. And John always finds the wrong angle whenever he goes after somebody. So his problem with Shuli, one of his problems with Shuli, is that Shuli was wearing a backpack. And so John is going to really let him know what he thinks about that.
As he ran away from me with his backpack on. Now listen, I teach middle school and they wear backpacks, okay? I don't see adults wearing backpacks. But who wears a backpack? The fucking dues payer. Chad, have you ever seen a comic at any one of your shows wear a backpack?
I mean, I'm not looking for it.
Yeah, because if you saw it, you go, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's walking around with a backpack. I mean, that alone says what a fucking wuss you are.
Let's just, another saying here that I've never heard before. Let's figure out what this one means.
And I'm going to fucking cut everyone to the punch here. I know I look like shit, but it's because I don't have any lighting. I look like I died 5 years ago. I get it. So you could all say that. Yeah, I have the Dutch boy hair because I'm growing my hair long. It's my midlife crisis. It goes along with my fucking Harley.
You hear that, Brandon? He cut you to the punch on that one.
Yeah, he did. At least he's owning up to it. And yeah, you're going through that awkward phase, growing your hair out with the receding hairline, and they're like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, but he looks cool on his Harley.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I wonder if
and
that
the only
means
reason he looks like shit is because he doesn't have a light. That's actually he's right.
Yeah,
That's the only reason he looks bad. Yeah.
It's just the lighting. All right. So now, John, this is more of him spitting and very proud of himself and calling out Shuli for his accomplishments on the Stern show.
I know I'm spitting, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
On the take of Private Parts, Betty Thomas, the director. Oh, that's right, Shuli. I was in Howard's movie with you. Nah, don't think so.
John is bragging about being in Private Parts. It was after the credits.
Yeah, I would not do that.
It was after the credits.
It was more of an insult to him than anything.
Right. Yeah. It was a gimmick. I don't know. Whatever it was. It's fine. I liked it. I liked the scene when I saw it for the first time. That was funny. But I wouldn't be yelling about how I was in Howard's movie if that was the scene.
After you saw the movie, the thing you kept thinking back to was the fact that John was in it at the end and how funny he was, right? I mean, not Paul Giamatti as Pig Virus, nothing else. That was really the high point, was John being in it.
John's lines in the movie is, how could you not have me in your movie?
Right.
That's the joke, that you weren't in the movie. Anyway, it's not John's fault. The movie took place before he joined the show, which is why he wasn't a part of that movie at all. Okay. He was going to be in the sequel, though. That never happened, unfortunately. So John does this thing with air quotes that we've all seen many times. I don't know why he uses them when he does. He's just saying normal words. So it doesn't make any sense to do this, but away he goes.
Now, these guys are not only real comics, dues payer. They don't brag about paying their dues. Every comic pays their dues.
Now, I do have to say, these guys are real comics. What is that supposed to mean? I thought he was trying to say they are real comics, but then he's doing this, so it's weird. This is just a fun little ISO. And I did not take this out of context in any single way. Don't ever accuse me of doing something like that.
I have no integrity. I have no loyalty. I'm out to make a buck. Period. End of story.
All right, well, the truth slips out from time to time.
I'm not talented. I'm not funny. I'm an ingrate.
The list goes on.
Yeah, we got to combine those two together. All right. So this is him going after Bob. And there's an accusation that comes up here. And again, this is kind of a pussy move because he was on a show with Bob for 3 hours and he could have brought this up at any point.
Now let's get into you, Bob. I didn't bring this up on MLC. Nah, I didn't get to half the shit that I wanted to get to. Bob, I'm going to ask you a question. Maybe this is an alleged story, but it's from a very damn good source. Chad, you know the source.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you spend 4 days in jail for not paying child support?
I know. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's like, Chad, you know the story. He's like, sure.
You woke me up.
Yeah. But this is the thing that John likes to do. You know, he always likes to like bring people into it. And Chad, you know about this. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about yet. You got to say it first before. All
right. Yeah.
Okay. Bob, did you spend 4 days in jail for not paying child support?
Okay. So that was the big Bob Levy bombshell there. That no follow-up. He'll just say it while he's talking to Chad, not when he's talking to Bob Levy. And then I can't believe he says this. I don't know if you guys remember this. This happened a couple of minutes ago. John wants to fight everyone.
Yeah.
And in a very real way. He's already figured out what channel it's going to be broadcast on.
The type of gloves.
The type of gloves they're going to use. He's got it all figured out. But keep in mind.
Sorry.
So this is the best one. It's not the best one. This is the one where I swear to you, and I told Vince, the crooked lawyer, this. I go, if I ever run into Bob, I'm going to beat his fucking ass. And, you know, just kidding around. Obviously, I don't promote violence, but.
Obviously. He doesn't actually promote violence. Obviously. Just fucking around, guys.
He never talks about a boxing match from 23 years ago. He never talks about anything violent that's ever happened.
Never promotes violence.
No.
All right. So John is now going to explain to us what an aside is. And this is fun because at first he says he's not going to, but then he can't stop himself from doing it because he's got the knowledge. He needs to drop it.
To do 5 to 10 minutes, not just like on as an aside. I don't want to explain to Bob what an aside is because he wouldn't know. But it's like if you're on stage doing a play, I teach this in drama. An aside is when you talk to the audience while other characters are on stage, as opposed to a soliloquy, which is a monologue on stage, and there are no other characters on stage. There, I just gave you the definition of an aside.
All right. So now they're talking about Gina Levy, who is Bob's wife, and this was the big breakthrough. When Vinnie Paulino was on the Uncle Rico show, Bob was telling a story, and he realized that when him and Gina were going through a breakup, John had reached out to Bob and asked how hot her body was because he wanted to invite her over to his house for the weekend, which is a weird thing to do to somebody who just broke up with their girlfriend.
Weird is being polite.
Very polite. I was trying to be polite. All right. So this is about Gina.
I think Bob's wife is super hot. And let me correct you on something, Levy.
She shit on my mom, so go ahead.
Stop interrupting me.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry to interrupt on my.
No, because I don't want to fuck up my train of thought, which I think you might.
I know. You're on a roll. Keep
I know,
going.
but see, now you just got me sidetracked. Okay.
Let me explain to you what sidetracked is. Yeah. I think that's so funny because Chad's still holding on to this thing that Gina Levy shit on his mom, and he pretends to be butthurt about it. But actually, what Gina Levy tweeted, and I don't know the exact wording of it, but basically it was, give Chad a break. He had a tough childhood. His mom wasn't as good of a mother as she could have been, and he went through, dealing with his stepfather and the abuse that he took from his stepdad. All things that Chad has explained to us. All of these things. And it's now Chad has turned that around into Gina was talking shit about my mom on the internet. So now Chad's acting like Gina's. That was just such a funny exchange, though, because as Chad's going, yeah, Gina said bad shit about my mom. Chad's like, shut up. This isn't about you. I'm talking right now.
And it's nowhere near as bad as any of the stuff Florentine said about his mom. It was all very funny, but it was really mean.
Yeah. Jim gets a pass, obviously. All right.
They're best friends.
Yeah, let's explain how radio works. That's always fun.
Even though this is not radio, I don't know why Bob always says, hey, I'm good at radio. It's not radio.
No, it's radio, John. You don't understand. It's radio. I was on
Kid Chris. Podcast, you dumb fuck.
It's radio. I do good radio.
It's not radio. Radio is when you listen. You don't see.
I don't want to get technical, but actually podcasting is also when you listen and you don't see. Just want to point that. I mean, technically, that's kind of how podcasting started off, but whatever. Neither here nor there. Okay, so as I mentioned, they're both upset about Gina Levy and they both know what could remedy this.
So, Bob, I deserve an apology from you. And I know you're not going to do it because you're not that big of a man.
Yeah, and I want an apology from his wife for saying about my mother, too, while we're at it.
So these two victims, these two victims need an apology, and that's what's going to solve all these things. When you're an adult, you don't need apologies from people. You just move on. Yeah. It's fine. I don't know what an apology would do for anyone. But John knows how to apologize. And I got to give him credit because I wouldn't have thought of this personally.
I'm sorry. And if I hurt you, shame on me. And if you want, I'll get you a gift card to a restaurant as an apology and say, I am sorry.
Yeah, get her a gift card to Bennigan's. Let's do this.
I'm going to steal that. That's going to be my apology for any situation that comes up from now on.
Yeah. You want a gift card to a restaurant? Will that make it better? That'll be good, right? Why do I think this is a re-gift? Yeah. Why would his go-to be a gift card to a restaurant? Wherever he moved to doesn't have that chain. And he's like, I can give you a gift card to a place in New York that you can go to. That's such a weird, like I was talking about before, what their version of currency is.
Yeah.
It's quite odd to me. But John explains that he's still growing as a person. And I think that's important. I think everyone should continue to grow as a person and evolve, I think would be a synonym for that. You want to be a better person every day of your life and learn from things.
I want to know that. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, I like to grow. Right now I'm learning Spanish because
I'm going backwards.
My daughter speaks fluent Spanish. She said, Dad, you got to watch the movie Parasite. I was reluctant because it's in subtitles.
All right, so a couple of things here. First, John didn't want to watch a movie because he had to read.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a school teacher say that. Secondly, learning a language is not growing as a person. That's not the same thing. Educating yourself and learning things, great. But growing as a person is a very different concept than learning Spanish.
Well, didn't he just say that he wanted to learn Spanish because his daughter wanted him to watch a Korean movie?
Yeah, well, it was also a weird thing. I didn't understand that connection. But then he goes on to say that his daughter speaks Spanish fluently. John, the guy who claims, everyone hates him because he's Puerto Rican. And so he says, I got to learn Spanish so I can speak to my daughter in Spanish. Well, she also knows English. So I don't know why you have to learn Spanish in order to communicate with your daughter. It's odd.
How else is she going to know to bring me Dos Equis if I don't learn Spanish?
Well, I'm just going to throw it out
there.
He probably doesn't talk to him, so he thinks, well, if I learned a different language, maybe she'll talk to me then.
She won't talk to me in English, so I'm going to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
All right. Let's... Now, if you guys recall, hopefully everyone's seen this, because I can't believe that we haven't even covered it, really. We will cover it. We have to. But I had my first ever conversation with Stuttering John on Mr. Love's Company. We played some clips of Chad watching that on the last show, but so much has happened since then that I haven't even gone back and really reviewed that. But one of the big things from it was John was alluding to the fact that I must be gay because I don't have kids.
Right.
That was like his big thing. And I guess the reason why that came about is because Vince the Warrior planted the seed, ironically, that said maybe the reason why guys like Cumia and Carl make fun of your kids is because they can't have kids. Maybe they wanted to have kids and they can't. And that's why it's a projection, because Vince likes to say things like that. He's a troll.
And John's like, that's a good idea.
And John goes, holy shit, you're right. That's what it is. So John's big thing was, how come you don't have kids, Carl? And he couldn't believe me. I was like, well, I never wanted kids, so it's all good. And he's like, in his head, either my sperm doesn't work or I'm gay and my wife's a beard, because that's what he said to me. So a lot of people are saying, John, you're going after Carl for being gay. That's really weird. That's an odd approach for a woke guy with LGBTQ plus children to do that. And so John's been having to answer to that quite a bit since that appearance on MLC.
Oh, here it is. I love this. I wasn't making fun of gay people, you dumb fuck. Okay. So, Chad, this is their new kind of narrative. Shirley tried to get me fired again. Shirley goes on his show and goes, oh, people should show this to LUSD. First of all, I wasn't making fun of anyone gay. I said that Carl was effeminate. That doesn't mean gay. Ryan Seacrest is effeminate. That doesn't mean gay. That's a metrosexual. It's not an anti-gay slur. It just means that Carl and Bob and Anthony all goof on my gay children. And they all goof on my gay children. But then when I call Carl effeminate, they somehow say that I'm being anti-gay, which couldn't be further from the truth. I watched it, you dumb fucks. I was just simply saying that he drinks his beer in an effeminate fashion, and that he can't be really effeminate because he has paneling, and no effeminate man, no metrosexual is going to have paneling in their state-of-the-art studio. That's all. Wasn't going against gay people. I was going against the hamburger himself, and Bob, and Carl, and Pocky for goofing on my gay children.
Jesus. I was going up to the host of one of these podcasts, and Carl, and the hamburger, and a lot of people in this world.
Going back to that conversation, he flat out called you gay, like the exact words verbatim. Carl is gay.
I know.
And then in this clip, he's like, "Well, I'm calling him feminine, but he can't be feminine because he has wood paneling in the basement." So what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, I know. He had an angle and it didn't work out, but he's sticking to it.
Yeah.
So he thought he had some funny jokes there where he's just like, you drink beer like a girl, or like a he didn't say, I think he said gay guy, because that's the whole point. Like, gays have good fashion sense and they wouldn't have wood paneling in their basement. But then this is the other thing too, and Christian, back me up on this. Metrosexual, which isn't a term that's really used anymore, but for a while it was used quite a bit, is not the same as being effeminate. Metrosexual meant a guy who dressed really well, who was good at grooming, smelled good. And it meant like a guy who's not gay, but you could maybe think he was because of the way he takes care of himself.
Yeah, that's pretty much the
somebody
long
who
and short of
presents
it.
very well.
Presents very well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not a person who's like, hey guys, that's not what a metrosexual is.
I took the metro here.
It's not the hosts of Queer Eye for the Single Guy. It's the people that they would help.
Right.
They were the gay ones, and then they helped a guy like try to actually look nice for his wife.
Precisely.
Not
so
that
when
I've
I
ever
sit
seen
here
that
in my
show.
Steve Caballero shirt, I'm obviously not metrosexual. I'm wearing Paul Peralta shirt is popular in the 80s. Not the point.
Well, no one can beat a dead horse like John.
It's true. The point, though, is that both of these guys talk about me. This is 41 minutes into the show, and I still cannot believe this happened. I don't know if we got off on some kind of Back to the Future 2 timeline, and now all of a sudden Biff's buying a casino, because none of this seems like this would happen the way that the world has been going for the past 45 years. None of this makes sense to me.
And I actually came away from that interview with Brennan liking Carl. I know it's hard to believe.
No, you guys had a good back and forth. I thought.
Yes. I actually will say that I left that show and go, you know what? I kind of like Carl. I do. I think he was stupid.
I don't think Carl's evil. I think a lot of these
I
guys
don't think he's evil either. I think he's actually probably a nicer guy than people think.
Yeah, and I kind of saw a side of that in him, so I was like,
Yes, I did too. And I was happy to see it, actually.
What's going on here? I'm not evil? Is that what they said?
How could you be evil? You're effeminate.
Right,
It doesn't work that way.
He's just a metrosexual. He's harmless. What's he going to do?
Who are these podcasts?